Again.
Welcome to the weekly pull. After over a month, we have all four of the main hosts on here. I am Benny the Comic Historian. That is Rob from Comics Explained. That is Sal from Comic Pop. that is, oh no, I got audio. Hold on.
It's a pretty solid intro.
That is a pretty solid intro.
I watched it all
What
happen.
the heck?
It looks
Something
great.
is playing that shouldn't be.
What are you talking about? It looks great. Oh, well, there's a delay.
Yeah, there's always a delay.
No, I'm just.
Oh, my bad. I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'm Benny the Comic Historian. That is Rob from Comics Explained. That is Sal from Comic Pop. And that is Faust from It's Super Effective. This week, we don't have our list of books that came out. We're going through all the ones that Benny hasn't read. Deathstroke, Old Man Logan, Marvel Zombies, E for Extinction, Future Imperfect, Weird World, Justice League, Gods and Monsters, Gotham by Midnight, Sinestro, We Are Robin, Lando Calrissian, Grayson, The Amazing Spider-Man, Where the Monsters Dwell, Martian Manhunter, Doom, Dr. Fate, Gotham Academy, Black Canary, Birthright, and Bitch Planet.
Wow. And cut. Done and done. All right,
We'll see you guys next week here at the Weekly Pull.
We are out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I bet there were some people in the chat like, what? Are they really leaving?
Yeah. What?
All right, guys, so we're going to shift up the format just a little. Today we are going to be discussing Ant-Man, but we are going to now start opening every week with what are we reading? What are we interested
Oh, my God. Okay, so me and Faust
So I guess Rob is going to go first.
Me and Faust were talking about this earlier today, and we were Uncle Bobby. Why are you guys calling me Uncle Bobby? You know what? See, that's a problem. I'm like,
Uncle Bobby, what have you been reading?
I did a live stream Q&A, and I was like, my niece always refers to me as like Uncle Bobby or Uncle Booby, and they won't stop calling me that.
At least they don't call you Dad.
Yeah, that'd be very, very creepy.
Hello, Daddy.
I was talking to Faust like, ahead of time, and dude, you were really creeping me out.
Daddy Bobby.
Oh my God, man.
I don't know if I should be offended right now.
That's like really scary to me.
Daddy Bobby.
Are you done?
God King Bobby.
Are you done?
What the hell?
Go for it, I guess.
Stick
Dad.
in.
You're sitting there thinking of stuff is what you're doing.
I'm trying. My brain is like half functioning today.
Okay, so anyway, I was talking to Faust ahead of time, and I told him that
Bobby.
with
Okay,
like these. Are you done?
Look at your face.
Are you?
I'm sorry, Bobby. Go ahead. Keep
Get
going.
it all out. Get it all out, man. Get it all out.
For the record, guys, I was at VidCon all weekend, and I am burned out, goofy, and giggly, and I'm ready for a nap. So,
If you're done, I'll
He's
go
done.
ahead. And,
I'm good, Bobby. You can go ahead and go forward, Bobby.
Are you serious?
Please.
God, you're killing me, man. Anyway, Uncle Bobby.
Wait, hold on.
with
Can I
great
call
power
everyone
comes
with a
great
Y? So
responsibility.
it's Sally, Bobby, and Fausty?
Oh my
Please
God.
don't.
I was like,
Wow.
no.
So anyway, so what's really funny is like as an avid Marvel fan,
Real
there's,
quick,
like-
actually, in all seriousness, Rob, turn up your mic input.
is it that quiet?
They're all complaining about it.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Let me boost.
They're all
my
laughing at
microphone.
Sally.
They're all,
They're all laughing
you.
at Sally.
They're all gonna laugh
Yeah.
at you.
Oh, good.
Okay.
It'll be like-
Adam
This should be,
Sandler, is that back when he had made good movies?
Apparently.
Oh my God,
that's
dude,
what I hear.
Pixel was a travesty. Anyway, so it should be better now, guys. If it's not, let me know. But as like an avid Marvel fan, it really disappoints me to say that there's like two titles in Secret Wars that I care about. One is Infinity Gauntlet, and the other is Old Man Logan, and that's it. And I guess the main.
But Old Man
Infinity
Logan
War-
is so
the main-
good.
Oh, Old Man Logan is so good. It's so solid, man. I was really nervous about that. I was like, are they going to be able to continue like what made Old Man Logan so awesome and like the story, you know, when they launched the tie-ins, and they have like it's really really good. But
Yeah.
Infinity Gauntlet I like because I like the idea of there being like more than one Thanos and they're all vying for the Infinity Stones, which is
Right.
a really cool concept.
I like that
with,
too.
Yeah, like with DC, it kind of cracks me up because I'm only reading like Batman and Superman. I'm reading Action Comics of Superman and Detective Comics of Batman, and that's it. Yeah, like that's all I'm.
You should do yourself a favor and pick up Jeff Johns' Justice League, because it's like it ignores everything you're reading, and it's just
That's the one with the Dark Side War right now.
It's just the Dark Side War.
Because there's the Justice League of America, which is like so full of like philosophy.
Don't waste your time with that book.
Okay.
The Justice League of America, I have a
Justice
feeling,
League.
is just gonna. It's good, but I think it's gonna end like Final Crisis with somebody singing somebody to death, and we're gonna be like, "Yeah, what?"
It's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that cerebral. Like that's the one where Superman died. That's the one where it's like all those different Supermans from time.
Yeah.
And Brian Hitch is drawing it. No, that's so bad.
I completely
just
forgot about Dark Side War, to be honest. Like,
Dark Side War, I'm enjoying. I like where that's going, but
It's just popcorn fun.
yeah.
I'm down. Also, Mr. Miracle is cool.
Since when?
Since Dark Side War. And he was also cool in like the Batman Superman, like when they went to Apocalypse with Supergirl and stuff. That book from a long time ago, from like 30.
I feel like they're just trying to shoehorn Mr. Miracle in. Like, who do we have?
Oh, yeah. No.
That's like Vision, and
they just
people
have,
were
like-
confused with Vision.
You know what happened? Warner Brothers found like a warehouse full of unsold Mr. Miracle action figures, and they were like, just put him in a whole bunch of books. Just make him like what's the character nobody put Cyborg, replace him with Mr. Miracle for like just a couple of months, just until we can unload these figures, these green and yellow figures, please. Is this Vision?
Here, everyone's complaining with the mic input. Let me do this. I'm going to reduce mine for you guys,
okay.
and that way we should all at least be on the same level.
Sweet.
Yeah, because right now my microphone's turned up as loud as it's going to get.
I don't know how to turn
normal
mine up.
recording level, but I don't know. You know how this stuff all works.
Do I do that in Skype?
No, I reduced mine so that way they can turn it up and I'm not overpowering.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, that's going on. I'm going to say what I'm reading at the moment.
Yes.
And it's going to be the most predictable title from me. Teen Titans, because if I don't care, no one else in the world will.
That's 100% correct. That is 100% right.
It's bad, but I'm reading it. It's really like, I know with the Teen Titans it's called the Teen Titans, but really it's never been about being a teenager. It's been like these kids that are just written like young adults that kind of have to function doing an adult's job, and this one's just kind of trying to do what Batgirl's doing and not doing it well.
I don't like the new book. I don't. I loved the last run, even as convoluted and weird as it got. I liked the old run, and I don't like the new run.
I with the current run of the Teen Titans, I don't know how many people are reading it, and I don't particularly want to enter spoiler territory, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ended soon and it was replaced with a Young Justice title, and then it was also replaced with just a Titans title. So they would have a title that's doing the job that Teen Titans is supposed to do.
Hold on.
Apparently
So I made
Faust
an
is
adjustment,
screaming
and
into-
everyone just shut up in volume. So they're all like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my God, Faust, you're screaming.
All right, guys, hold on. Someone suggested that Skype mess with the mixers, and it did. So I fixed them. So everyone's back to normal.
Yay. Hell.
Finally, Faust is the loudest voice.
God, people are like,
I-
Faust is screaming.
You gotta think, because I lowered everything, everyone reduced their volume, like raised it all the way up, and then I fixed it so everyone's screaming.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Just turn down your volume, everyone.
Um,
Whoever suggested that was the mix-up, yes, Skype messed it up again. It's fixed now.
Okay.
okay. But then this is how the Faust takeover begins.
I am magically louder than all of you.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if the Teen Titans was cancelled and was replaced with Young Justice and the Teen Titans. But for everyone that doesn't know, the Young Justice comics have never been the same as the Young Justice cartoon. They're like they're cartoony and fun in the comics, and I miss that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm reading Batmite. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. I hear it's a really good book.
It's fun. It's really, really fun. It's really refreshing compared to everything else that's coming out from DC.
Right. Everything is deathly serious. I mean, like, I don't know, Batman, like Jim Gordon's Batman right now, and he's just like, it's pretty lighthearted.
Like,
Oh yeah, no, the Batman with Jim Gordon, I'm actually really liking, because
Yeah.
I do a lot of Batman on my channel, and it's not because I know Batman's gonna get views, it's because I love Batman. But when you start doing Batman Weekly, which I thought would be a great idea, you start just seeing how broody Batman really can
yeah.
get.
Well, no, I like
Every
it
week you're
because-
reading a new Batman like arc, and it's like, and he's gonna be evil and maniacal, and he's gonna manipulate, and oh look, he's about to cry. All right, well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem I have. Like every Batman story, Bruce Wayne's always like, I can always overcome things because one, either I'm really, really rich, or two, like I'm super smart. But Jim
Yeah.
Gordon's like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing right now, but we'll just wing
Yeah.
it and see what happens. And that's what makes the
It's-
story so good, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. I guess technically it's my turn, or Sal, did you go? Because you kind of jumped in like I did in everyone else's stuff.
Yeah.
I had like one
Oh
more.
no,
right?
go ahead, Faust. I mean,
I wasn't finished.
the Faust takeover is beginning. He's now cutting me off. Like, what is this? So rude, Faust.
I think my favorite title at the moment from Marvel and DC, it's like my go-to title is Giant Size Little Marvel. I just
it's
think
so awesome.
it's so good. I want more of it. I want it to be like an ongoing series. Like past Secret Wars.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it will be.
they probably will.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I'm pretty much
Oh,
reading
I
all the
will.
same stuff you guys are. Old Man Logan. I'm reading the Little Marvel. Because I read a good chunk. I'd say my favorite ones right now has to be, and this is going to seem weird, I'm really digging the Batman run. I'm digging Superman. I mean, I'm really behind most of my DC books. Marvel, I'm really behind. Like, Spider-Woman just had a great new book come out. Ant-Man I'm reading. But oddly, I like the Spider-Woman book. Did you read it from last week?
No, it's just
She's on a
like-
road trip with Grizzly Bear.
I stopped reading it around issue.
Oh no, this issue
four.
she's now on a road trip with Grizzly Bear. So like they'll go to a place, he'll mess up horribly, she has to save him, and he'll be like, "I'm trying to be a good guy." So they go to the next place, he'll mess up horribly, she has to save him.
I
Like
stopped
I don't
reading
know
it.
why Marvel's suddenly like Grizzly Bear needs to be a thing. Like put him in Ant-Man, put him in Spider-Woman.
See, I stopped reading it a while ago, and it was just so bad. Like around issue 4, it was like because they were going to cancel it at issue 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
It hasn't
It's
been
weird. It
cancelled.
picked back up, and it's kind of going in a direction kind of like Ant-Man with Nick Spencer did, where it's kind of like fun and happy-go-lucky. The serious guy's here.
Oh, that's
serious
cool.
one for this one is Spider-Woman, and she's stuck with a bunch of idiots.
That's
So,
cool.
Okay.
but no, I'm really liking that one. But I'm actually reading a lot of independent stuff lately. I've been going actually really heavy into Turtles, IDW's Turtles. I
cool.
love that run.
People have been asking like for Ninja Turtles. I guess I'll do Ninja Turtles at some point.
I
People are
know,
like,
I
"You
did
should
the
talk
first
about
book.
Ninja Turtles."
I did the first book, and I want to do more. I'm just waiting to get a hold of IDW and kind of get a pseudo permission to do it, like we have with Marvel and DC, because I don't want to do stuff and then them tell me no.
Yeah.
But like Turtles is great. I love it. Turtles is awesome.
I never got into the Ninja Turtle comics. I have not read or had anything to do with the Ninja Turtles in years.
Dude, the comics are amazing.
That's what I've heard. People keep saying
Yeah,
the comics
it's
are so good.
awesome. There's a few things in there that I'm like, really, that's kind of crazy. But like, I love the reinvention of everything that we knew as kids, but not in a bad way. Even the new origin kind of, which matches more in line with the movie, sadly.
Oh, good.
But
Okay, so
but-
then what's a good jumping on? Like, I mean, did they like reboot
Got
the Ninja
Volume 1. A
Turtles?
little while ago, they had a sale at Comixology. It was like 75% off all of them. So I just bought the whole
crap.
collection. And all of these trips, I keep reading it on the plane. And I just caught all the way up to the death of Donatello. So,
Donatello dies. Spoilers. Thanks, dude.
how did you miss that 2 months ago?
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
Okay.
People were asking me in the chat in the Comics of Coffee. They were like, "You should do a video on the death of Donatello," and I'm just like, I didn't know, but okay.
That's that's the thing people don't realize. We don't read things straight away like they think we do. So like, we can't avoid spoilers if you do
Oh, no.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you guys, especially like, and breaking news, you guys are normally the ones telling us in the chat. But anyway, the Turtles is great. The reinvention of the origin's awesome because it takes the same concept as the movie, where they're turtles, they got the ooze, and they just learned it in the sewer. But they explain how that worked by explaining they are the reincarnation of like a ninja family that was wrongfully killed by Shredder, and they're destined to constantly reincarnate and fight him now.
Oh wow.
Oh.
That's the
Okay.
storyline
That's cool.
to Zelda.
So the Turtles are now Zelda. No, but I'm reading that, and then thanks to actually Comic Pop's indie corner thing, I've been reading Bitch Planet,
Nice.
thanks to Tiffany, and
Yeah.
I actually picked up 21st Century Tank Girl.
Oh, cool. I've
I've heard
never
good
had any
things.
interest in Tank Girl, so I'm interested to hear what that's
No,
like.
it's actually interesting. Like, there's no actual arc. It's like 3 stories per issue.
Okay,
So
cool.
you just get like a 5-page story of Tank Girl just being insane and crazy and fun.
Good. That's
Yeah.
what it should be. There's
There's
no
no art.
arcs.
There's no nothing like that. I mean, there's gratuitous nudity and all kinds of crazy stuff, but
Tank Girl should be like a heavy metal book.
yeah, it basically is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's awesome.
Teenage Mutant Zelda Turtles.
I
But
love
no, that's what I've been reading. A lot of like
Nice.
weird decisions.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the other thing. Well, I went back and read Bizarro #1 for DCU.
Oh, hey, yeah.
And because I don't remember if it was you, Sal, or somebody, but they were like, Bizarro #1's really good. Like, it's really
Wasn't
entertaining.
me.
Okay, it wasn't. I thought it was really entertaining. It was funny, like seeing Bizarro just like on a road trip
liked
basically
it.
with
The
Jimmy
road trip
Olsen.
thing?
Yeah, it was really funny, and like the king, whatever it is, the car lot salesman that's like empowered by aliens. They're like, take this staff and it'll make you powerful, and that was pretty funny. But I like I never really got into Bizarro comics before, so I don't know what they were like before. But to see like a Bizarro that like where he's intentionally drawn to look goofy, and it's silly and it's nonsensical is really entertaining to me. So because to me that's how Bizarro is supposed to be. Like he's a goofy version of Superman. So
Yeah, typically when they do Bizarro, it's like because he is a silly character. Like the idea of me am so happy to fight you. Like what? Because it's such a dorky, goofy premise. They tend to, and I think this is actually a holdover from like the Superman animated series, like go really dark. Like he's a botched clone of Superman, and he's like. You know what I mean? Like it's just they tend to go like kind of Solomon Grundy / like just make him a really tragic story where he desperately wants to do good, but he's wired to be opposite, and he's just a freak. I'm like, that's a neat idea in like $1995, but like in today's world, it's kind of depressing.
Well, what I like about Bizarro, and I actually love that book. I love the whole Jimmy Olsen and him are going across the world. They fight like this fake Tutankhamun guy and like all kinds of weird stuff. What I find a bit weird about though is they tried to reinvent Bizarro during Forever Evil. Like, so they had a new clone, and he was that guy. Right. He was wired to be bad, wanted to be good. And it's almost like they're just like, yeah, he didn't exist. Here's Bizarro!
I mean, I'll say that. It's entertaining. And here's one of the funny things. Somebody asked me in the Comics Coffee live stream, they were asking about like what I thought about DCU. Then I'm going to make a video kind of explaining the difference between that and New 52, because I think a lot of people are confused. Like, is DCU like a reboot? It's like, it's not really a reboot, just so much as a new series of stories. But, like, I like the idea of DCU insofar that there's different things for different people. The problem is I don't care about, like, 90% of the stuff that's out there.
The one title where I was like, I know I'm going to like this, I'm really looking forward to like this, was postponed till October. And it was Mystic U. I was like, it's going to, like, explore... the magical side of the DC universe and put all like the magical characters that are there but you kind of forget about in a school. And apparently rumors are going around that it stars Timothy Hunter from the Books of Magic series. So I really was looking forward to that one, and it's not there, so I'm just kind of bitter.
This actually fits kind of like, how do you feel about Gotham Academy? I think I might have asked you this before, or I don't know if it was on the podcast or not. You like it though?
Oh yeah, no.
I like it as well.
Becky Cloonan went on Twitter like a few months ago, and she's like, please read Gotham Academy. Anyone who wants to read it, I'll send you copies of the book. And we reached out to her, and she was like, here you go.
Yeah, no, I jumped on board at the Damian Wayne arc, little single issue, and I love it. I'm buying the book.
I read the first 6 issues, and I'm like, this is a really good book. It's like an anime Harry Potter in Gotham.
Yeah, I think like
awesome.
if you're... I always say, like, if you're an anime fan that says, oh, I don't really read comics, I just say, there's a comic there for you. Yeah, and at the moment it's called Gotham Academy.
At the moment it's called Gotham Academy.
Well, I don't know. See, that's the
well,
problem.
That and Earth 2 Society is drawn up entirely like an anime.
I don't read anything called Earth 2 ever since Forever Evil.
Damn you!
Ever since Future Imperfect and after Convergence, I'll never read another Earth 2 book again.
Really?
Because you don't need to anymore.
I don't know. Like, see, to me, what's cool is the only reason why I'm reading Superman. I'll say this: the only reason why I'm reading Superman right now is because I've said it before. It's the most compelling Superman story I've read in a long time. Because the problem with Superman is, how do you write a Superman story that's interesting? You've got a guy that can do anything, and as long as you don't have kryptonite in your hand, you're probably going to get beat. So, like, how do you write a story that's interesting like that? Well, you take his powers away. Well, I'm down with that. And then you tell everybody what his identity is, which, as far as I understand it, they still haven't revealed how that happened. All they revealed is that Lois Lane figured out his identity when he was dressed as Clark Kent, when he lost his powers temporarily.
Yeah.
And then
they slightly revealed, and you can kind of assume where it's going to go, but I forget which one of the Superman books it is, the latest issue, revealed like before all of this happened. And what they show is somebody learned his identity and pretty much had him by the balls. It was like, you have to do what I say, or I'm going to reveal it to the world.
Oh, yeah, so, and then he walked away and said...
Right, so you can almost assume that it's going to be a Lois, reveal it for me, so this guy can't make me do something.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good call. But
Oh,
Huh?
no, I was gonna change the subject, but keep talking.
no, but I like that idea. I like the idea of a powerless Superman and how he did. Well, not really powerless. He still has powers. He's just not nearly as strong as he was. But I
Well,
like that
yeah, he's
idea of like an
he's
enhanced. Do what?
Yeah. He's muted. Like
Yeah.
he's for all intents and purposes just a really he's like Luke Cage that powerful. Like
Yeah. He's just like a above
Like, you're still
average
not going to go
strong man.
arm wrestle the guy. But,
Yeah.
but he ain't
yeah, no.
flying.
Oh, you wouldn't. You'd die. But like bullets can slow him the hell down.
Yeah.
Wait, you saw that, I think it was Superman Wonder Woman, he got
Yeah.
shot up by a bunch of armor-piercing
Suicide
ones
Squad.
from Deadshot. Yeah.
That
So,
was
and it
bad.
actually did damage. Like, he was like, don't let him see me.
Yeah. That was a solid book.
Yeah.
Like that was a
Yeah.
solid issue. I
I
like
will
that
say-
book of Wonder Woman.
I will say one book at the moment that I was surprised I'm liking as much as I am, and I totally forgot to mention it, is Martian Manhunter.
I'm not
How is
liking
it?
that one.
I read the
I-
first issue and didn't care for it, but
Yeah.
The pacing's weird, I'll admit
Right?
that. But other than that, I'm kind of I want to know where the story goes. Like, that's why I say I'm enjoying it, because I'm curious and it brings me back. Other than that, yeah, its pacing is really weird. But at the same time, its pacing isn't as bad as The Flash at the moment, because for a book called The Flash, the pacing is slow.
I will 100%. I love The Flash, but it should not take, like, I think the first major arc concluded after like 22 freaking issues, and then the second major arc was like 18 issues long, and like we're in the second issue now, and they're like, Professor Zoom's back, and I'm like, so he's gonna do something in 9 issues? Like, what are we doing here?
Who's writing the Flash right now?
They changed writers, I think. I got it somewhere. No, I don't have it here.
Yeah.
I think they
shit.
changed though. It's not the guy. I don't think it was the guy who was doing it last time.
But either way, like it's interesting to me. I mean, I love the whole Superman truth idea. I love that whole concept, and that's why I think that those stories are doing good right now. The question is, can DC hold that, or is DC going to screw it up? Like, are they going to mess that up? Because I mean, how do you? I mean, what direction do you take this in? I mean, let's say that, like, I mean, let's say right now we're deciding what direction the story goes in. Like, what happens? Does Superman get his powers back? Does he just? Because right now he's not even Golden Age Superman. I mean, Golden Age Superman could jump over buildings. Like, he can't even do that. So the question is, like, you know, where do you take this? Do you kind of restore his powers to a minuscule level? Does he get his powers back entirely? And how does he get them back? You know,
I would
Real quick, for the record, just to answer that question, Francis Manipule, I can't pronounce his last name, but the guy who was writing The Flash, the story arcs I liked, he moved last year to Detective Comics. Maybe I should read Detective Comics.
yeah.
if he's
like-
writing Detective Comics right now, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, well, yeah,
pretty
right now
solid.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think, like, for Superman to get his powers restored, there was a similar idea in the 90s with, or was it 2003? Linda Danvers basically lost her powers as Supergirl and essentially had the powers that Superman has at the moment, and she needed to be healed by something that wasn't of this universe, which turned out to be Matrix, and that was the second time she was healed by
Oh
her.
yeah.
And
That's
she got
awesome.
her powers restored, so I think they could just be rehashing that and hoping no one notices, which is why I'm not feeling Superman at the moment.
Well, you are aware they took Supergirl's powers too, right?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
I
read
haven't- I
it? Did
haven't
you
been
read it
reading
all the way to the
Supergirl.
end? That's one of the books that I read
No.
all the way to the end before they canceled and said it's done. At the very end of the whole thing, they wrapped up all the story arcs that were happening. She goes back down to Earth, and they end it with her cutting her finger with a paper cut. And she's like, "What is this?" And then it cuts to the bottom says, "The end" with a question mark. Supergirl will return or something like that. And I'm assuming they're just holding for the show.
But then Supergirl's coming back in a Justice League book with all her powers.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta
how
remember
they're doing
things
it.
are.
That's DCU, like whatever. Like Jim Gordon, Batman.
Nothing,
Dean
they're talking
Superman.
about stories. They're not worried about the way. Like, and I actually
don't
kind of
care
like
how
this
it fits in.
because here's what I like about it. And actually, I think I'm taking this from a review you had on your channel, Sal. DC is pretty much writing books for everybody now. So
Yes.
if you want to see a compelling Superman story, go read Superman. But if you want to see Superman and Batman in their current outfits doing the amazing stuff, you have Darkseid War and Justice League of America.
Yes.
You know, and the same thing with Supergirl. While her story might focus on her losing her powers and getting normal life and probably matching a lot to what's going on in the TV show, she might be on a Justice League book and just have her powers back.
That's right. Yeah,
See-
they could legitimately do anything they want, depending on the title of the book.
See,
But then at
that's-
the same time, I don't see this lasting because they're already sort of falling back into continuity. We've seen
Well,
with the
no,
books that are being released in October. It's
we-
just fallen back into a
when we were talking about Batman and Jim Gordon and how he took over, you could feel like he's been Batman for like 3 issues max, and like you could feel that they're gonna fix it and put him back, like get rid of him. And then the comments lit up, and they were like, apparently Snyder said in an interview, like 6 months, Gordon's Batman for 6 months, and that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we know that because of the way Detective Comics ended. I think it was where Jim Gordon like went to go find Bruce Wayne, and he was like, I know where you are, you know, and like I need your help or something like that. I'm like, well, I guess Bruce Wayne's coming back.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that was the end of the latest Batman issue, which everyone was like, it's amazing, and I was like, I'm reading it like, this is cool, but it gets to the like, oh my god, the ending.
Right, but like at the same time, like they don't have to do that, like because it's DCU, like. It's not like it's not like this is the only book that has freaking Batman in it.
Right.
And you could
literally
there's
do this 20 others.
I mean, like, you proved it with Superior Spider-Man. Apparently that was supposed to be, like, maybe 6 issues. And then they were like, can you squeeze another year out of this? And he's like, I'm Dan Slott. Of course I can milk this.
I can milk anything.
Yeah, I can literally make anything out of. I can make lemonade out of anything called Spider-Man. Like, you got it. So he stretched that out for a year and like proved that not only can you do it, but you can actually do it kind of well until Cameron Cully draws it. And then with Batman, you could literally do like with the reveal at the end of Justice League, and I don't want to ruin it if everyone has read it. Like the end of Justice League, I'm like. Not of America, just Justice League. I'm like,
Dark Side War Justice League.
I can't wait to see the next issue.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, wait. Before we move on again,
I haven't read Justice League
actual
at all.
topic.
Yes,
I need to.
Okay, you haven't read it yet?
I haven't read it.
The art's fantastic, and the story's just
this isn't major spoilers. It is one comment that he made, and I want to know if the people who have read it think that we're going to get more to this before we go to Ant-Man and move on to our next topic. He makes a comment at the ending. I'm not going to explain how it happened, but he basically has knowledge at his fingertips, and he's like, "What's the Joker's name?" And then he goes, "No, it can't be." And I'm like, "What is it?"
They're gonna give us the Joker. They're gonna give us Joker's identity.
Or Batman's just gonna know it, or when he loses the ability to know it, he won't know it anymore. Either way,
is this gonna be like Nick Fury talking to Thor? We're just
Dude, oh my god, Marvel, man, Marvel. If Jason Aaron. By God, man! If you do nothing before you end the Thor series, for the love of God, please tell us what the hell Nick Fury said to Thor. I'm getting harassed with questions. I'm going to tell you right now, if I upload a video that's titled, "Here's what Nick Fury said to Thor," it's going to get 1 million views overnight.
It'll crack your shit.
It's going to blow up so bad because everybody wants to know. But here's the thing. Before we move on, here's one thing I wanted to say when it comes to DC. One of the things that I love the most about DC, but that's so hard for me to cope with as a hardcore Marvel fan, is how different things are. Like DC's character story arcs, and it took a long time for me to get used to that. Here is a character. It's like Marvel tried to do that with Cyclops, and it was a total catastrophe because Cyclops sucks. But like they try to do like individual character stories at Marvel, and I'm so used to like crossover events. Like all of Marvel's arcs are like group crossovers, X-Men versus Avengers and Infinity, and so on and so forth.
They've been doing that a lot lately. They're not just with Cyclops. A lot of the better books and recently in Marvel have been just individual arcs, like Miss Marvel, Thor. Like they don't cross over. It's just what's happening in that book.
Yeah, but when you've been reading
Squirrel
Marvel
Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Like when you've been reading Marvel for a long time, and all you have are like a litany of major crossover events going back years and years and years, and then you say, okay, let's just go read some DC comics, and it's like, well, Superman's got a major character crossover, and you might see Batman, but you probably won't.
But then probably not.
Then it's like, okay, I mean, it's weird to get used to. It's weird to like adjust to that, but once you do, like when I was able to adjust to it, it's amazing. Like DC has some really, really solid character arcs, and that's why I think I dig it so much, is because it's so easy to say like, here's a video on the Flash, and here's like 3 character arcs, on the character or something like that. It's so easy to, like just from a reader standpoint and like an adjustment standpoint, like it's really cool to get behind, and that's what I think about DC so much, is that it's just focused so much on characters as opposed to major. I mean, I guess unless you're reading Justice League, But.
I will say sometimes that kind of hurts them, like with the Suicide Squad book, because that focus on characters normally shifts in group books. But with the Suicide Squad book, it never shifted. It was always Harley Quinn and those Suicide Squad guys or whatever .com.
Deadshot, Suicide Squad guys and whatever .com.
Right.
And for the record, someone was saying how DCU, we don't care about continuity. Marvel's doing the exact same thing as of October. And Marvel has released a bunch of the books that are coming out in October, and they all don't match up. So,
and that's going to be, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a huge gamble for Marvel to like throw continuity out the window, and to say.
I think in general, people are getting tired of continuity. I think that's just coming down. People are getting tired of questioning. Where did Batman fight this? Do that? The other thing. They just want their stories. Like, there's always been a question of Spider-Man. You know, for Marvel, it was always like Spider-Man and Wolverine, an ongoing joke. Oh, they're on every team, and they're here, and they're there. Oh, and between that, he fought Green Goblin. You know?
Yeah.
And that's. Oh, go ahead.
Which kind of sucks for us, because when we tell like the history of these characters, it's kind of like, and then we get to the point where continuity doesn't matter.
That's so good. Like, that's such a hassle to do.
Like, that's the problem.
I did a joke on that on the gaming channel a long time ago before we did the comic channel, but I did the story of Mario. So I was like, I told the continuity story of Mario, and then like between like a major gap in the games, I'm like, and during this period, Mario and his friends played go-kart racing, tennis, soccer, just lumped everything into one. They just took a lot of vacations.
Well, no, I mean, I agree that I think like continuity is a huge stickler for a lot of people because it makes things make sense. You know, and that's why you can go and read Marvel. Like for example, people say, okay, I want like people were asking me the question. Somebody actually tweeted to me the question of, you know, do the X-Men have a version of Civil War? And I was like, yes. It was called Decimation, and like like Decimation took them out of Civil War, and it lines up perfect.
To another degree.
Wait, I got a comment from one of our guys here. You remember continuity? Pepperidge Farm remembers continuity.
That's true. But no, like, okay, yeah, Schism, you know, the like.
Faust is like American humor. Screw off.
American humor. I don't understand American humor. No, yeah, Schism to a degree when they split the schools down the middle. But yeah, I mean, okay, I guess that's a really good version. But the fact remains, like you can read Civil War, Annihilation, and Decimation, and know those three are all going on at the same time. You know, and it makes sense. You know, the way they're done, like it's all going on at the same time. You know, that's why Tony Stark went to go visit Emma Frost, and she's like, get out of here. We don't want to have anything to do with that. We got bigger fish to fry than your stupid Civil War. So, all those things line up and make sense. I think that when people start reading through stuff, because they're even doing it now with Civil War, or with Secret Wars. Like, you have Secret Wars, and you have Old Man Logan, who's literally going from one reality to the next, like one world to the next. And so people are like, okay, all these things line up. It's the most continuity that you have in the story right now, but, it's continuity nonetheless. And so if they walk away from all of that and they say, here's just like a whole bunch of stories, and they may or may not line up, then that's going to be a huge gamble. That being said, I think a great breakaway from their history is exactly what they need. And I think that's probably a good decision. I mean, it can't hurt.
I mean, well, you got to think, and you know what? And we're getting what's known as event burnout, or what's it called? Like exhaustion.
Event fatigue.
There it is. Fatigue, because we went from, I don't even remember where it was this time last year. We were on a different event, moved right into Original Sin, right into Axis, right into Secret Wars prep, and into Secret Wars. Like, I don't care anymore. Just give me fun stories. I think that's why I love Miss Marvel so much, and why I'm no, seriously, and why I like Thor so much, and why I'm liking Spider-Man, because they're not in that. I can just get a story.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wanted to say this too, because somebody asked me about it. Deadpool's Secret War.
Yeah.
Is that not an amazing story?
Oh, that is so awesome!
I love that story so much. It's one of the best Deadpool stories written in a long time.
The best part about it is we're at least getting that, because the Mrs. Deadpool and the Howling Commandos is horrendous.
It is garbage. I gave up with issue number 1. I was like, nope, not doing it. This sucks.
Why would you have a Deadpool book and make him the ghost in the background? But anyway, all right.
It's not about him. It's called Mrs. Deadpool.
Right, but it's Mrs. Call it Lady, whatever her name is.
No,
Lady Deadpool
is
already a character.
And Deadpool is a main character in that book. He's actively participating in that book. He's a ghost, but it's like he is fun, and that he's written fun in that book.
But he only gets like 3 panels an issue.
Yeah, so listen,
that's called a cameo.
You have forests worth of Deadpool action that you can enjoy. Literally forests worth.
Not enough.
No, it's more than enough.
I want more Deadpool, goddammit.
Well, then go see the friggin' movie. Because
that movie looks incredible.
Of course, it looks
now
great.
We're way off topic. So that's our books of the week. We will learn how to condense that a lot shorter than 40 freaking minutes, but
yeah.
All right, guys. Moving on to the next topic. It's time to talk about the biggest small guy in the world. This is going to be open spoilers because it's been like, what, a week and a half since the movie came out now?
Yeah, it's been a week and a half. If you're a comic book fan, you've already seen it twice.
It's true. I've seen it twice.
Oh. No, he's right, though. He's right. So at this point, this is your warning. If you don't want spoilers for Ant-Man, take off.
Get out.
Yep.
We're going to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes talking Ant-Man.
First things
get out.
first.
Just mute it.
Yeah, mute us. Just watch it.
Eternity
We
wasn't
need
that
the
movie.
views.
We're done. I'll give you a big wait. I'll be like, no, you can come back.
First things first, Eternity wasn't Ant-Man. Like the director Paul Reed is like, basically, yeah. Or whatever his name. I think it was Peyton Reed was like, pretty much.
Okay, you said that in the chat, and then I went to go again to go and see it today, and I totally forgot to look out for Eternity. But is it at the part where he's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller?
Yeah.
I don't think that is because everyone's been okay. Well, first off, we're gonna apparently we're jumping right into Easter eggs, but
We're getting straight
Yeah,
into
what the
it.
crap?
all right. So at the very end of the movie, when he's going into shrinking into oblivion, I've seen multiple things because the director said watch for stuff in that scene. Now,
Really?
I've heard you said Eternity, but you're the only one I've ever heard say that. Everybody else that I've read Easter eggs on says that you can see Janet Van Dyne. You can see an image of the Wasp.
That's Eternity.
That's why would Eternity look like the Wasp? How would people mix that up?
No, because it doesn't
Maybe
look like the Wasp. It
the
looks
Wasp
like Eternity.
is Eternity in this universe.
Oh man, spoilers!
Oh, mind blown.
Mind blown. I think it looks like Eternity. I really.
I think we're not going to get an answer until Ant-Man 2.
we're not. Dude, we're not going to get an answer for a while.
You're not
We
getting
won't.
that
We
for a
won't
long time.
learn.
You don't
I mean,
think so?
they've told us about the. We know that cosmic entities exist. They told us about it in Guardians of the Galaxy and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, "Here's the 4 cosmic entities. They made the Infinity Stones, so on and so forth." Like we know they're there. Like we know Infinity, Eternity, Mistress Death, and Oblivion, which is entropy, whatever. Like they're there.
Yeah.
You know, so we know we have 4 of the cosmic entities.
But they've only mentioned him briefly in Guardians. I think it'd be so weird to put him into the end of an Ant-Man movie.
Oh, did you not get the Guardians like collectors thing? Like they go into all that stuff, all that lore, and like
They
the
do
Guardians
actually, yeah.
and the Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
No,
Like,
I know in
Collective
Guardians
gives the
it's
whole,
there
like-
and it's referenced and it's put in there.
No,
But
I'm not talking about the
I just
movie.
I think it would be weird to put Eternity into the Ant-Man movie. Like it just seems so out of place,
I don't think so.
even as an Easter egg.
You're talking about a movie where a guy shrinks down to a minuscule, to basically the microverse, and you're going to tell me it's weird to have Eternity in the movie? You're like, what's his name when he directed the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and was like, I don't want a giant purple alien in my film. Well, you got a guy that's made of fire. You got to do the stretches. The guy made a rock and a girl that goes invisible. Is it really that outrageous? Like, is it really
Yeah.
that crazy? Plus, the guy that's made of silver.
This is made of silver.
I mean, okay, so there is something at the end there. Like I said, every report that I've seen states that it's the Wasp. I'm not denying you because I don't remember that scene at all. Like it's one of those ones where I looked it up afterwards and I'm like, how did I miss that? But so
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying everything else that I've read states that it's the Wasp that is shown and not Eternity.
Yeah,
But then
I've seen
again,
that.
it could very well be a thing of no one knows what Eternity looks like except you. So everyone assumed it was the Wasp. Only person in the world that can identify. Like the director's gonna come out and be like, "You're all wrong." Comics Explained had it.
I had it the entire time.
But let's how about we rewind and go from the ending of the movie to the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of their use of Hank Pym as Ant-Man as a World War II hero who
Awesome.
then retired?
Awesome,
I think
it was an awesome idea.
I remember hearing that rumor like before they even started like production. And I was like, yeah, it sounds awesome. Like that Ant-Man had been fighting like with Agent Carter, like
Yeah.
but she didn't even know it, you know, that kind of thing. I was like, yeah, that's fine.
Did none of you guys read the Prelude comic?
No.
Yeah, of course not.
Who reads Prelude comics? Marvel never does a good job with those.
No, they suck, but they give you some cool information. It's basically saying that like he was part of the Cold War.
You know why I don't read those? Because, and it's just, here's a short version, because while it gives you information, the director can always just change his mind. Like,
that's
the
true.
movie people can be like, what? There's I don't care about that. Like, it's why I don't read the Star Trek, like, movie tie-ins, because I know that, like, the next movie will just be like, no.
Well, that's kind of, on a side note, that's kind of what I'm worried about the Star Wars comics. They're
Yeah.
like, those are in continuity. And I'm like, until they decide they're not. Like,
Right, like, it doesn't like, sure, Marvel is publishing them and they're owned by Disney, so technically it's all. Do you think? I know that they have like a cabal of Star Wars nerds that are like sifting through continuity, but if they're keeping Jar Jar Binks, they're not reading the friggin' Marvel comics.
They're not
So-
keeping Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, they're keeping Jar Jar Binks because they're keeping the prequels. What they should have said when they started out, when they were like, we're making 7, 8, 9, they should have been like, and 1, 2, and 3 never happened.
Well, okay, we're not going to talk about this very long because we can have a whole discussion on Star Wars.
I was just going to.
But I am going to say this: I understand them throwing out all the extended continuity movies. Yeah. That's going to be hard to just say.
They can't. They have to say like the only things that matter are the movies and the shows we're making.
Right, and I can see that. You know, even though 1, 2, and 3 were god awful. You really can't just be like, ignore that.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, and you...
Only Sony does that with Spider-Man.
That's pretty good. You know what they're going to do? After 7, 8, 9, they're going to go, like, the mic
They're going to remake 1, 2, and 3?
The mic drop event at San Diego Comic-Con 2029 or whatever will be, like, we'll just be Star Wars, and it'll say 1. And they're going to be like, that's it.
That's redoing it. It's going to be good this time. All right, anyway, okay, so you guys liked how Hank Pym was... Because personally, I thought I was going to hate on the fact on how they handled Hank Pym, and in the end, I freaking loved it. Because that gave us a great excuse for Hank Pym and Scott Lang. Because if you read the Ant-Man annual, they're always kind of weird. They're like the same age, and Hank Pym's been around forever, Scott Lang hasn't, and...
Well, it was a great way to wrap it up, because, I mean, my question was... Like, how do you introduce Hank Pym as previously being Ant-Man, and then have Scott Lang take over the mantle? Like, how do you do that? And I thought maybe they were going to do it in the opening credits. Maybe they're going to do something, whatever. Or I didn't. Up until the point that I saw they were going to have an older Ant-Man, then the question becomes, okay, what happened? During this time. The fact that they wrapped it all up, said he was part of the Cold War era, he was Ant-Man during that time, and just quit because he was tired of doing it, is an awesome concept. And I guess, Janet Van Dyne too. Like, the way they wrapped his character up really fast and really neat, left no questions. Like, what in the heck is going on? Like, what's I don't understand what was going on with Hank Pym previously. It answered all your questions over the course of the film.
There's only one thing about that I had an issue with, if I can just jump on that. And it's when he said that the suit, like, the reason why he's not doing it is because the suit took its toll.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was kind of...
Because if he had said the suit took its toll and I fixed it too late, then it'd be fine. But, like, at no point does Scott go, like, does it give you cancer? Like, should I be wearing this thing?
Should I be concerned about this?
Does it make me look like Michael, does it make me look like Kirk Douglas? Because that's what it seems to be doing to you.
I assumed that what it had done, and my implication was that, was just, like, there wasn't as many safety things on it, and then with the loss of Janet, he was like, all right, it took its toll emotionally and physically.
It's implied, but we literally have a scene where, like, we have 3 continuity dump scenes, one after the other, where we have Hope go, like, you never told me about my mom, and then we have Hank go, let me tell you about your mom, and then we have literally we have all the plot has to take place in this one 12-minute long chunk of the movie, and we couldn't have any point where he's like, oh yeah, and about that suit that you said took it, can we just make sure that we got all the does the Pym particles make me like sick, or can I like
is it gonna shrink my junk and I can't stop
at no point is there even a reference, because like one of the things that I saw, like Red Letter Media did a whole thing about Ant-Man, and they're like, why does he have a helmet? And I realized at that point that at no point do they say you have to breathe Pym particles in.
Like, the one thing I will say about, like, that section is, as a whole, is I don't think that he would have asked that from seeing the movie, because he wasn't doing this for himself at the end of the day. He was doing it so he wouldn't go back to prison, so he could save his daughter. So I don't even, or so he could, like, be with his daughter. So I don't even think that, oh, this is going to hurt me, is crossing his mind, because he's going into this going, I could die. So
right.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I can see where Sal's coming from, because I could be like, I'm doing this entirely for my daughter, trying to take care of her. It's going to take its toll. So does that mean I have a week or like 10 years?
Right.
No, like, I figured they were drawing on existing information in the comics. Like in the comics, like
we know that Pym particles don't give you cancer. It's just
no. But if you expose yourself to Pym particles long enough, like you don't need Pym particles anymore. That's what happened to Janet Van Dyne. Like, she was exposed to Pym particles.
Cassie too, I think.
Yeah, she was exposed to Pym particles for so long that it was part of her body, and she could just shrink down to wasp anytime she wanted to. So, like, I mean, that's kind of what I assumed that they were talking about. But it would have been nice if they had done something to explain that.
Just a little bit. I mean, like,
maybe
there's enough subtlety. There's enough, like, implied, and there's also enough of it being a fun quasi-comedy action movie for you to really not care. That's just me being a nerd.
And maybe it's in one of the cut scenes, because I don't know about you, but almost all the trailer scenes were cut out of the final cut.
Yeah.
They weren't there. All the jokes, can we change the name? Oh, I named it Ant-Man.
I noticed that. Any derogatory... Yeah, any of the self-deprecating anti-Ant-Man jokes that you would have that were not only in the trailer, but you would have expected in a movie that wasn't really sure of itself, were gone. And it's almost like because the test audiences were like, don't be ashamed of making an Ant-Man movie. Go see it. Like, you know, trust me, they'll freaking go. Sorry. I don't censor myself.
We're not allowed to swear again. We're on normal hours, Sal.
Normal hours. This is not Adult Swim.
we all curse on Comic Con.
But no, I mean, it was like that. That is something that I wouldn't have mind seeing. But I mean, truth aside from that, there really weren't a whole lot of holes that I could punch in the movie.
It didn't hurt the movie at all for me.
Yeah.
I have no. The other thing that I had a problem, not a problem, more like it's too bad they didn't do this because it's like every time they release a Marvel movie, they take the same article they've been printing for the last 10 years and they just change the name and they go, why can't Marvel make a long-standing villain? Like, why is Loki the only villain that you can have? Because literally in every Marvel movie, they kill the bad guy. Like in every superhero.
Well, even Ultron. You'd think Ultron would have hung around Loki, they could work together.
Nope, they kill him too. Like, everyone's dead. There's no long-standing villains. And I remember hearing, like, Jeff Bridges saying, like, I would have loved to have come back and been more Ironmonger. And I'm like, that's fine. But, like, the character they didn't kill that I would have loved to have seen in this movie because of its tone is Justin Hammer, a.k.a. Sam Rockwell. Like,
oh, God, that would have been good.
Sam Rockwell steals the show for Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is, like, worth watching just to watch Justin Hammer chew scenery.
Yeah.
And he's so funny, and he's like, I mean, like, Ant-Man is more or less like another Iron Man, because it's about a billionaire industrialist who's fighting against another billionaire industrialist, and they've got suits, and they have to fight each other in their suits. Like, it's the same damn thing, but totally different and a lot of fun. You take this guy, like, you have Justin Hammer, and he, like, you could legitimately just have him at the end of Iron Man 2 be like, I can't beat Tony Stark, but I could probably beat that Pym guy. And then just invest all his money into stealing Pym particles, and then you have a hilarious Yellow Jacket.
I don't know about that, though, because, I mean, even Falcon couldn't beat him.
Well, no, Falcon couldn't beat Ant-Man.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, yeah, of course Falcon, I see. So you're saying, like, if Falcon couldn't beat Ant-Man, then definitely Justin Hammer wouldn't be able to beat him.
Right, I said, why would Justin Hammer even think he could beat Ant-Man?
Well, no, because, he didn't see that fight. But, like, at the same time, Justin Hammer's also, like a jackass, and he's really full of himself. So, like, of course he would think he could beat him, especially because he's fighting against, number one, he's not sure, he doesn't know that Ant-Man exists. Number two, it's Ant-Man. Like, he could underestimate him. But then it allows him to not only not die at the end of that, but then you can carry over Justin Hammer, where he's this disgruntled, constantly battered loser villain who's always trying. Like, you could bring him all the way into the Daredevil show.
We don't have the goofy villain anymore.
No, he could literally. Maybe I could beat this stupid guy in a ninja costume, and then you could make him into another hilarious villain. Like, you just take a character that's who cares. Like,
Yellow Jacket's all about Justin Hammer.
He's a great character. I'm sad that he's only in that one.
Let's just put Justin Hammer in everything. He's just the main villain for everyone.
He's the main villain.
He's the main villain for Captain America.
I agree with you,
He's the guy that beats Thanos.
That's the one thing I like in all the comic books. You always have that jokey villain that shows up. Like, who was the best one? Actually, it was reversed, but Ant-Man, Scott Lang confronts Taskmaster. And he's like, we're arch nemesis. And he's like, I was there for the other guys. You were just there.
Yeah, I was not your arch nemesis. No, like, well,
don't go telling people that.
Who's the crappy villain? Chat. Who's the villain in Ultimate Spider-Man that he always beats? His name's Herman. I think it was the Shocker. And, like, there's always a Shocker joke. Every 3 issues, Spider-Man beats Shocker, and it gets to the point where he eventually just, like, kidnaps him and ties him to a chair, and he just beats on him, where he's like, I hate you so much, every day you defeat me. And I love that element. I wish that was in more comics. Like, I wanted that in Spider-Man 3 so bad. Like, for Ben Kingsley to show up as the Vulture and just, Spider-Man, your arch nemesis is here, and Spider-Man just webs him one time and then beats him, and then he just goes like, where do these guys all come from? Instead, we have a where do these guys all come from as the main villain. We have Sandman be the whole movie.
Well, okay, so let's go reel this back into a movie that came out in the last couple of weeks.
That was the end of my point.
And to go with that point, how did you feel about the complete reinvention of a Scott Lang villain into this normal guy who's got a grudge against Hank Pym, makes a crazy Yellow Jacket suit?
Man, All right, here's a
fine.
problem that Marvel has with those movies. The villain of Darren Cross was cool. Like, I'll tell you this much: this version of Darren Cross, sure as hell had a lot more to him than the one in the comics, because he was there for 2
Yeah.
issues and then he died. He had a heart attack and died.
Yeah,
So I
this
was
Darren
like-
Cross was cool. He was scary and funny and
But here's
made
the problem.
sense.
Like, Marvel wasted him so bad because I can't remember the name of the guy that played Darren Cross, but he is such a great actor. Like, I mean, in House of Cards, he was amazing. And
like-
he is easily a villain that I would love to have seen come back, you know, on like several occasions. It doesn't matter when. I mean, on several occasions, you could tie him into Tony Stark and say, well, now
Yeah.
he's the one that instigates the armor wars instead of like Justin Hammer. I mean, you could do like
be
any
awesome.
number. Yeah, you could do any number of things. Like, that would be so cool. The problem is, and this is I swear to this day, it will always be the plague of Marvel Cinematic Universe's existence. They can't take villains from the comics and take their compelling nature and put it in the films. The only exception to that is Kingpin, and that's because they had 20 hours to achieve that. Like, like the cool thing about the villains, and I mean, maybe it's just a byproduct of the comics because you can write so much, you can
Loki.
provide backstory, and Loki, you can do so much with them. You know, is you can do that in the comics. In the movies, it seems like the villains are here for the sole purpose of saying this is the line of dichotomy between the good guy and the bad guy. Like, this guy's bad because he does this stuff. This is the good guy. Let's focus on him, and then just put the bad guy in there for the good guy to have someone to fight, to give the movie some semblance of purpose, to fill some formulaic, you know, standard on how to make movies. And I hate that. Like, I love.
Well, hopefully, hopefully with the advent of the Spider-Man franchise, we'll get like repeat villains because you can't kill Doctor Octopus. I don't care, Spider-Man 2 fans. You can't kill Doctor Octopus at the end of your damn movie.
There's Spider-Man 2 fans? I didn't know there were Spider-Man 2 fans.
I liked it when it first came out because there was nothing to compare it to. It was great.
Okay, so like
but-
all 3 of the Spider-Man 2 fans would be angry.
The more you're in the minority.
Hey, there's 4.
The movie made like $200 million in the first weekend. You are in the minority.
No,
Spider-Man 2 is not good now in comparison to good movies, but Spider-Man 2
Pals,
is
do you like Spider-Man 2?
no
Uh,
Do I
comment.
like it now? Do I think it's a garbage movie? More or less, and I've talked about it at length on my channel if you watch any of my videos. But like the
or
fact
half
is,
of our podcast.
yeah, exactly. but back then, what did you have to compare it to? Batman Forever, The Phantom, Tank Girl.
Hey,
I like
hey. Do not knock Billy Zane. He was amazing in The Phantom.
The Shadow.
Oh, The Shadow.
We
Whatever
have-
it was he
had-
was
The
in.
Shadow was awesome. I remember
Whatever
that.
it
No,
was
it was
The
not.
Shadow was
You had-
awesome.
I will never rewatch it because I'll hate it, but I thought it was
Don't.
amazing as a child.
Ninja Turtles
had
3.
Batman and Robin and their nip-nops.
Oh, come on, nipple armor. You gotta be protected.
Dude, I'll never
Yeah.
forget that, man. Nipples on the armor. Who
How
the
could you?
hell thought that was a good idea?
Joel
Joel
Schumacher.
Schumacher.
Yeah.
He said it. There's multiple interviews of him being like, I wanted to sexualize Batman. I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
Nipples are weird, though.
Nipples
Like,
are weird,
of all-
especially male nipples.
Nipples are
I'm
weird.
curious. I'm gonna Google nipple armor and see if it's safe for work.
That's a very good idea. Yeah, go
Guess
to Google.
what? They're
Go
all
to
not.
Google
I've never seen it
and
before,
look
and I
up
can tell you,
nipples.
no.
It is not
Okay.
safe for work.
Of course not. It's just all pasties.
Okay, my one issue with the movie is it's not really an issue so much as a question. It's okay. So when Scott went into the microverse and then came right back out, it was like seconds from when he went into the microverse, and so we didn't really get to see. Has Wasp aged since she was in the microverse? In which case, how is she still alive? Because she hasn't been able to eat or drink. So
I did hear theories on that you don't age inside of there, based upon the fact that it felt like almost instantaneous, like time passing for Scott.
Outside.
But outside, you could obviously see like things had been cleaned up. The cop had moved, held the girl. Cops were moving into the building. So I would go ahead and say time doesn't pass.
Well, but the problem is they
I
didn't
would-
answer that. Like, they didn't say, did time actually pass? It was just he shrunk down to the microverse, and then at some point he's back, and everybody's leaving.
Well,
if they really wanted to say time didn't pass, I would have appreciated it more if maybe a month had passed or even a year had passed.
yeah.
Just
Well,
to
I
make
think
it
they
a
left
bit
it
more
open.
obvious.
I think what they did was they left it open because if they leave it the way it is now and they come back for the sequel, they can do Janet Van Dyne if they want to and cast like a really hot young actress.
Yeah.
Or if they decide not to, they can just do some side thing, bring her back however they want. Leaving it open like this, they can kind of fill it in later.
Well, see, here's the
mean,
problem.
like-
Like, the microverse in Marvel Comics is basically, like, for all intents and purposes, is the exact same thing as the Earth 616 universe. It's just
Yeah, it's a real
smaller.
place that with like
Yeah.
people and food. So like,
Yeah.
right? Odds are like she's just like chilling with micro people.
Yeah. I mean, it
The
really
micro-
is.
They make
nuts.
food.
Yeah, it's literally. I mean, there's a ton of people who went there. Like when Marvel launched it, like I mean, you had Magneto that went there, Captain America went there. Like
Imagine if the
Ant-Man
sequel,
went
the
there.
sequel is him actually going
Incidentally,
there.
that's where
and it's like
Janet
a
Van Dyne
crazy
went when she
foreign
died.
world.
That's true. That's true. But I guess Hank Pym brought it back. Do what? What'd you say, Benny?
I said, well, imagine if the sequel, like if we do get an Ant-Man sequel, and they go to the microverse in it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
A
that would make
surreal
sense.
world where people are there, and Jada Van Dyne's been like jailed up, and time doesn't pass, so she's a young, beautiful 19-year-old
Oh, no.
actress.
They'll have her be married to like the leader of the microverse.
Yeah.
Like,
We have to rescue her, even though she's
Yeah,
yeah,
will
go.
I will admit, I spent half the movie saying to myself, is Hope Van Dyne that one girl from Tron Legacy? Because they both have the hair.
No,
it's
Olivia
not.
Wilde is the
Wilde.
chick you're thinking
That would have
of.
been amazing.
The girl that was Hope
Awesome.
Van Dyne is from
Evangeline
Lost.
Lilly. That's what her
Yep.
name is.
I never watched a lot. But then at the same time, I spent half of Tron Legacy going, is that Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs? Like,
Do you spend the entire movie just going like, is that this person?
I have a feeling
I
he
do,
does.
like, I get fixated on, like, certain characters going, is that them? I'm really bad with celebrities. Can that be them?
Oh, fun side note. This is a great segue off of Ant-Man, I guess. But I met Mark Ruffalo. Just saying.
Oh,
Got a
nice.
picture with him.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's just throwing that out. This is we're talking about celebrities. Anyway,
That'd be awesome.
back to Ant-Man.
No, that's. I mean, it's okay. Here's a really cool thing. The idea of the
2, Army of
microverse.
Darkness.
Do what?
Ant-Man 2, Army of Darkness.
Marvel Zombies. I think the really cool thing about the microverse is, I mean, one, like we don't even really know if it exists, or if it's only just he went to a place between atoms, like if he went to
right.
like subatomic levels. The microverse may not exist in Marvel because if Marvel comes along and they say the microverse exists, that opens up a whole new world, like a whole new plethora of things, you know, because there's all kinds of places. And here's the problem that I would have. If they say the microverse is real, then the microverse becomes the Marvel Cinematic Universe's version of the Ultimate Universe of Marvel Comics. Well, we've got characters that we don't
And
really
the
want to do
borrowers
anything
can
with.
exist.
Yeah, like let's just like off to the microverse with you is what they're just going to send them off to the microverse. We'll just shrink them down and send them there.
Doesn't Marvel 616 have a prison in the microverse?
No, in the negative zone. It's
No. They had like they called it the big house. It was like a tiny prison.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they had a prison.
They have like 4 or 5 major supervillain prisons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was the raft, there was the vault, there was the 42, and there's the big house, and
There's the kiln.
There's the Gamma
out in
place.
space.
How many
Yeah.
snacks do you have, Sal?
I mean, what? These are the same snacks.
Oh, okay. It just
Oh.
looks like you're always grabbing like something new. You're like chips, cookies,
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get these. And
4-course
these,
meal.
these.
It's like, how small is that house? Like,
The
Yeah, that's
kitchen's
cool.
right here. Okay, so trying to think what else. What did you guys think about? Like, I was kind of hoping Ant-Man would be completely removed from the Avengers. How do you feel about them incorporating the Avengers facility, Falcon, and then incorporating him being already pretty much on the team?
You know,
Right.
I mentioned, huh? No, go ahead.
at first, I did want it to be completely removed from everything else, but then I thought about it, and I actually kind of like it because as the cinematic universe expands, more things are going to cross over. It's getting bigger and bigger, and so it wouldn't make sense that it would be off on its own when this world or this universe is becoming more and more populated. At least something would make it in there from something that we've already seen. So I kind of liked that they chose something that was so fresh and so new in our minds by using the Avengers facility.
You know,
Yeah.
and that was my thought. You know, my initial concern going in is it was literally going to be a movie with giant purple letters in every scene saying, "Oh, by the way, this is in the same universe as the Avengers." You know, like everything's all happening at the same time. But it actually, I mean, it was done quickly and tastefully, and that's what I think made the
Yes.
difference. Is they basically made the movie and they were like, "Oh, by the way, the Avengers are here," and that's it.
Well, I like that too.
Oh.
They basically kept making you aware that this is in the universe, like the joke about the Avengers dropping cities. Or I love the line of, "Why don't we call the Avengers?" You know,
That's the first time they've logically addressed that issue that everyone who
comic
watches
book in
the movie-
existence.
Well, everyone who watches the movies complains about that. Like in Iron Man 3, they're like, why didn't you just call the Avengers? And friggin' Thor 2, why didn't you just call the Avengers? Like, why didn't you just call the Avengers? Finally, we have a character in the universe acknowledging that annoying criticism.
Yeah.
Like
Why don't we
they
call
don't
it
call the Avengers because it's not called Avengers 3, 4, and 5, and 6. It's called Thor 2. It's called friggin' Iron Man 3. Because if they called the Avengers, the problem would be solved. That's why. Okay.
Well, that's
Because
like an issue with every Batman comic. You know, like Gotham is gonna burn to the ground.
What is it called,
Call the
Superman?
Justice League.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I would like to see that every once in a while, like, where like Batman's being beaten literally to death, his face being caved in, he just says like Clark, and then just like
Well-
Bane pinned to wall, and he's like, I only do this like every couple of years. Thank you, Clark, and then just moves on. Like,
Well, that's probably what's going to happen in Ragnarok. I mean, if you remember the Ragnarok event, like Thor was like, "I need some help," and he called in Iron Man and Captain America, and so
That'd be
that'll
awesome.
probably happen. Yeah, that'll probably happen in the film. It's like Iron Man and
I
Captain
can see
America.
that happening more in the films now. Cameo drops, like
Yeah.
basically like what they're gonna do in
That
Civil
awful
War.
cameo
It's
and-
about Captain America. He's going to be the focal point, but all of the other guys are here. They're doing their thing now.
yeah, or like that utterly depressing one in Thor 2, where Loki just looks like Captain America for 3 seconds, and you're like,
Wasn't that pitiful? Was that
it was
not
funny, but you're
pitiful?
like, this was our cameo.
Because I was looking at the casting for Thor 2, and I was like, oh wow, Chris Evans. Like I wonder
Yeah,
what
like,
he's going to
what?
be doing, you know? And then
Oh.
it's just like,
He's turning into a friggin' joke. Haha. Great.
Speaking of cameos, you know that part where the Stan Lee cameo was in this movie?
Yes.
You know that Asian girl in it?
Yeah.
That was talking. She's a YouTuber. Her name's Anna
Yeah.
Arcana. And I was just like watching that, like,
Really?
is that Anna?
I love how they
that-
gave YouTubers non-speaking
That just ruined
roles.
fast. He's like, so.
For the record, if they called up the weekly poll and said we're just gonna pan over you at a table, you won't have a speaking role. We're there.
we're
so
there, man. I'm just like,
Oh
yes,
no! Like,
hey,
we could.
hey everyone.
I'll be happy to like if we're eating out, we're drinking outside, laughing and having a good time, and a fucking Shutari just steps on it. Like I'm fine with that. Like
I'm perfectly
Galax
okay
drops
with
something.
that.
Whoops! I'm down.
See, like
I'll get
it's-
killed by a Shutari.
That being said, Marvel, if you've got plans to make a Young Avengers movie, like Wiccan,
You're
right
Wiccan.
here. Yeah.
No, you're wicked.
yeah.
If we ever get
all right,
out,
so
we're
we're-
past you as Wiccan and Hard.
We'll go into our post show. We'll talk about all the crazy Easter eggs and stuff. I'm sure anyone can watch videos about the Easter eggs. And if you haven't yet, go check out Comic Story on TV. A great side
why not?
project from me. Covers the Easter
Well,
eggs.
see, here was before we end this. Here's what I love most about Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man is a really cool concept of Marvel taking a risk, of Marvel taking a gamble. Because with Iron Man, you could say, well, it's kind of a gamble, but it was a Marvel cinematic universe.
Hold
Like,
on.
Marvel
I
was
know
like,
we probably missed a few others, but Brown Hornet 74 just subscribed. All right,
Thank you.
Man, Hornets.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting the weekly poll and every single one of us. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for being part of this.
And if I missed any, Goldman, give me a list, please.
But no, like here, the really cool thing was, you know, when Iron Man came out, people were like, "Oh my God, it's a movie made by Marvel. It's going to be good." And so everybody went to go see it based on that. And so there was really no gamble there with Iron Man. We knew that it was going to be a success to some degree. It was just a matter of, will it be able to like uphold that? Will they be able to keep going? And so this far into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, 2 Avengers films, 2 Captain America films, 2 Thor films, 2 Iron Man films, and so on, to say we're going to make a movie about a character that's never had a solo series, that has always been, well, I guess he does now, but has always been like
Yeah.
a backdrop to that was basically a weak character, because Jim Shooter said it best when he took over for Marvel Comics, and I guess as editor-in-chief, and when he was looking at the character of Ant-Man was a running joke. Like, he
Yeah.
was never taken seriously. He was always the first one to lose. He was always the first one to be captured, or in some capacity, he was always demonstrated as being the weakest person on the team.
Oh,
And
in
so-
Avengers Assembled, he's killed by a dead guy.
He's killed by a dead guy. He gets blown up by Jack of Hearts. You
Taking
know.
this moment, Luke Strange also subscribed during the podcast.
Thank
another-
you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. But no, that's it. You know, when Jim Shooter said he took over, like, you know, Hank Pym was a weak character. When Ant-Man came, or I guess when Scott Lang came along, he inherited the role of a weak character. And so for Marvel to come along and say, we're going to basically take over the idea, not only that, to introduce the concept of Giant Man, because they did that in the movie. They introduced
Yeah.
the concept of taking
The
on
concept,
taking on
but we didn't
mass.
get much more out of it. I
No,
mean,
but-
everyone's all like, Civil War, and I'm like, I agree. That's probably where we're going with this. But,
Yeah,
like,
like the ability to grow in size. I mean, they introduced all kinds of cool stuff there, and to be able to take that movie, to be able to take that concept, say we're going to add this in on the cusp of Captain America: Civil War, right after Avengers 2: Age of Ultron, and with the direction that everything's going in, was a really big gamble, I think, and it paid off because it was a great combination of comedy and action, and
Yeah.
to me, I think it's the best movie they've had for a solo character in their first film since Iron Man 1. I mean, if I said all the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms of their first films, Iron Man, Ant-Man, and then Captain America, Thor, whatever after that. But it was solid. It was a great movie. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I loved it. I mean, I've got multiple reviews and discussions on my channels now at this point, but I loved the movie. I'm a toss-up between that or Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite. And I like the two of them because they are separate from everything. You don't have to have watched everything. While I feel like the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're getting to a point where it's like, all right, start watching from the start,
And what made me happy in the fact that this did well is that they're probably going to take risks on other characters. And, there aren't any specific characters, Scarlet Witch, that I'd like to see get their own movie, Scarlet Witch. But
Captain Marvel first.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Well, isn't she getting her own movie?
Yeah,
Already,
she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pushed it back by a while, too.
Yeah. Unless they get the Fantastic Four rights back, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I gotta push it down again. We gotta make room for Spider-Man." The next one.
I was thinking about that, Sal. Like when you had brought that up, because you were talking about the Inhumans one day, and you said you were like, why Marvel's putting the Inhumans between Infinity War 1 and 2, and everyone was like, why? He's like, because if they get the rights back to X-Men, the Inhumans get pushed back to the next phase.
Drop off. Phase 6 Inhumans, everybody.
Well,
Don't
if you
worry, Sky's coming back.
If you look at the back end of everything while these deals are going, you got Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Inhumans as the last three.
Yeah.
All of those are getting pumped if needed.
Yeah, because if they get Fantastic Four and X-Men back, there will be at least... I doubt they do Wolverine movies, but I could see a Cyclops movie.
They make Wolverine movies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would. By the way, we're doing Old Man Logan.
They would do Old Man Logan immediately, except I think they're going to be doing Old Man Logan right now, so it's going to be confusing and stupid.
Yeah, they're doing
I could see them.
The only one of these movies on this list that I can guarantee are going to come out are all of the Avengers movies. Yep. The Thor movie, obviously. Captain America's already done. They're just waiting to get it out. And Guardians 2. Doctor Strange, I think, is just guaranteed at this point because it's so close.
No question. It's just too close. They've got everybody locked in. They've got Benedict Cumberbatch. They don't want to wait for Benedict Cumberbatch's popularity to completely dwindle off. So get it out.
I'm pretty sure Black Panther's almost locked in. But if something happened tomorrow, it's definitely going to get bumped. Yeah. I think Captain Marvel's and Inhumans is going to be the two that suffer.
Okay, but here's one thing I want to before we end this. I want to sidetrack for just a second. The idea of pistachio cucumbers playing Doctor Strange was always weird to me because I always felt like Adrian Gillen, I think his name was, would have been a much better Doctor Strange than pistachios. I'm just saying, he's cool.
Really?
Yes, dude, Aiden Gillen. If you ever watch Game of Thrones or virtually anything he's been in, he looks like Doctor Strange. He looks like you would think Doctor Strange would look. He looks exactly the way he would look. Oh, Eagles 4201 just subscribed. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, Eagles.
Oh, I missed one. Yes, thank you so much.
I always feel like for Doctor Strange, you need an actor that has a big presence about them that you're gonna pay attention to, but at the same time, you can feel that they're a complete and utter weirdo. Yeah. And I always felt like if they were gonna do Doctor Strange, Eddie Izzard, for no apparent reason, there's always been a Doctor Strange in my mind. And it makes no sense, but he's a big weirdo and has a big presence about him, and that's all that I've said I need. And then when I try and list big weirdos with a big presence that are actors, in my mind, he's at the top of the list, and Battenberg Cucumber Patch, or whatever his name is nowhere near the top.
Why does nobody know Benedict Cumberbatch's name?
I don't know, man. Like Pistachio Broken Pots. I don't know what his name is, man.
It's because I went to school with the people that had the name Cumberbatch, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
You're dicks!
I'll tell you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to close out the main show. If you are joining us on Twitch, which you should every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we are doing a post show. We will keep talking, but our main show does have to come to a close, sadly. Don't worry, next time we will condense down our weekly reads discussion a little shorter, but don't forget to follow us at The Weekly Pull on Twitter. Go to our Facebook, facebook.com/The Weekly Pull, and make sure you go to our website, theweeklypull.net, to join the community. If you have managed to subscribe to the channel, thank you so much. It's directly supporting us, the creators of The Weekly Pull, and very soon, for those of you guys who have questioned me, should you do Twitch if you can't watch Twitch? Don't worry, we have a few other things in the works that'll be coming out soon, so you can help support us and not waste your money on something that won't benefit you. Overall, I think everyone, what's your opinion today, man? Loved it? I think it was awesome.
Very solid.
All right.
like that.
Next week we'll talk about the Easter eggs if nothing else comes up. Otherwise, we're back, guys. A dinosaur story. Anyway.
That was such a good movie. I remember that movie.
All right, guys. I'm Benny the Comic Historian. That is Rob from Comics Explained. That is Sal from Comic Pop. And that is Faust from It's Super Effective. And my voice is shot, and I'm tired. I'm going to go now. But thank you, guys. And we are now rolling to the post show. Everyone wave so Rob knows when to cut the video.
Later, guys.
All right.